In his gripping book, The Lucifer Effect, renowned psychologist Philip Zimbardo delves into the chilling question, why do good people do bad things? Zimbardo challenges the comforting notion that evil is perpetrated by a few inherently wicked individuals. Instead, he argues that ordinary people, given the right circumstances, are capable of shocking acts of cruelty. Zimbardo's work forces us to confront a disturbing truth about human nature. We are all susceptible to the lure of the dark side. The line between good and evil is not fixed and impermeable. It is a blurry, shifting boundary that can be easily crossed under the influence of powerful situational forces. This book is not for the faint of heart. It is a stark and unflinching examination of the human capacity for both good and evil. Through his research and analysis, Zimbardo provides a framework for understanding how situational factors, institutional pressures, and psychological mechanisms can converge to transform ordinary individuals into agents of harm. By shedding light on the psychological processes that underpin evil, Zimbardo empowers us to recognize the warning signs, resist negative influences, and ultimately choose a more humane path. At the heart of the Lucifer Effect lies Zimbardo's groundbreaking research, the Stanford Prison Experiment. In 1971, Zimbardo transformed the basement of Stanford University's psychology department into a mock prison. He recruited a group of psychologically healthy college students and randomly assigned them roles as either guards or prisoners. What unfolded over the next 6 days shocked the world. The guards, empowered by their uniforms and instructed to maintain order, quickly became abusive and tyrannical. They subjected the prisoners to psychological torture, humiliation, and dehumanizing treatment. The prisoners, stripped of their identities and subjected to relentless control, became passive and withdrawn. The experiment, initially slated to last 2 weeks, was abruptly halted after just 6 days due to the escalating abuse. The Stanford Prison Experiment stands as a stark reminder of the power of situational forces to override individual morality. It demonstrates how easily ordinary people can succumb to the allure of power and the seductive influence of a toxic environment. Zimbardo's work echoes the chilling insights of philosopher Hannah Arendt, who coined the phrase the banality of evil. Arendt, while covering the trial of Nazi Adolf Eichmann, was struck by his ordinariness. Eichmann, a key figure in the Holocaust, appeared not as a monstrous sadist, but as a bland bureaucrat who claimed he was simply following orders. Arendt argued that evil often manifests not through grand acts of malice, but through a thoughtless conformity to authority and a chilling indifference to the suffering of others. Zimbardo extends Arendt's concept, arguing that the banality of evil is not limited to historical atrocities like the Holocaust. It can manifest in everyday life in seemingly mundane acts of cruelty, prejudice, and indifference. From workplace bullying to online harassment, the banality of evil thrives in environments where individuals abdicate their moral responsibility and blindly follow the dictates of authority figures or group norms. One of the key mechanisms that enables ordinary people to commit acts of evil is dehumanization. Dehumanization is the process of stripping individuals or groups of their humanity, reducing them to objects or animals in our minds. When we dehumanize others, we create a psychological distance that allows us to justify treating them with cruelty and disregard. This process is often fueled by prejudice, propaganda, and fear. Wartime atrocities provide chilling examples of dehumanization. Soldiers are often trained to view the enemy as subhuman, making it easier to kill. But dehumanization is not confined to the battlefield. It can occur in any context where individuals or groups are labeled as other and stripped of their individuality. This can be seen in instances of bullying, discrimination, and hate crimes. Pause 3. To further illustrate the insidious nature of dehumanization, let's explore some real-world examples that highlight how this process manifests in different contexts. One powerful example is the Rwandan Genocide of 1994. During this horrific event, the Hutu majority used propaganda to label the Tutsi minority as cockroaches, effectively dehumanizing them and justifying mass murder. Over the course of 100 days, an estimated 800,000 Tutsis were brutally killed. Pause 2S. Pause 2S. Another stark example can be found in the treatment of prisoners at Abu Ghraib prison during the Iraq War. American soldiers, influenced by a toxic environment and dehumanizing training, subjected prisoners to horrific abuse and humiliation. The infamous photos that emerged from Abu Ghraib shocked the world, revealing the depths of cruelty that can occur when individuals are stripped of their humanity. Pause 2S. Pause 2S. Dehumanization isn't confined to distant lands or historical events. It can be seen in contemporary society, such as in the treatment of migrants and refugees. Political rhetoric often paints these vulnerable groups as invaders or criminals, fostering fear and hostility. This dehumanizing language paves the way for harsh policies and inhumane treatment, stripping away the dignity of those seeking safety and a better life. Pause 2, then pause 2S. Even in everyday interactions, dehumanization can take root. Consider the rise of cyberbullying, where anonymity and digital distance enable individuals to inflict emotional pain without seeing the consequences. Victims of cyberbullying are often reduced to mere avatars, making it easier for perpetrators to justify their cruelty. Pause 2S. Pause 2S. These examples underscore the pervasive and dangerous nature of dehumanization. By recognizing and challenging dehumanizing behaviors and language, we can begin to dismantle the psychological barriers that enable cruelty and inhumanity. Pause 2 says, pause 2S. In our next chapter, we will delve deeper into the psychology behind cruelty, exploring the mechanisms that drive ordinary people to commit extraordinary acts of evil. Stay with us as we uncover the chilling truths behind human nature and the steps we can take to foster a more compassionate world. Pause 2S. To truly understand how dehumanization fosters cruelty, we must delve into the psychological mechanisms at play. One such mechanism is the us versus them mentality. This mindset creates an artificial divide, positioning one group as superior and the other as inferior. This divide can be seen in many historical contexts, such as the Rwandan Genocide, where the Hutu majority dehumanized the Tutsi minority through propaganda, leading to horrific violence. Pause 2S. Another psychological factor is conformity. Social psychologist Solomon Asch conducted experiments in the 1950s that revealed how people often conform to group norms, even when those norms are morally wrong. Asch's findings help explain why individuals may participate in or passively accept cruelty when it's endorsed by their peers or authority figures. Pause 2S. Milgram's obedience experiments further illuminate this phenomenon. In the 1960s, Stanley Milgram demonstrated that ordinary people could be compelled to administer what they believed were painful electric shocks to others, simply because an authority figure instructed them to do so. These insights reveal how powerful the influence of authority and social pressure can be in fostering inhumane behavior. Pause 2S. Expert insights also shed light on this dark facet of human nature. Dr. Philip Zimbardo, known for the Stanford Prison Experiment, speaks about the Lucifer Effect, which explores how good people can turn evil under certain conditions. Zimbardo argues that situational factors, such as anonymity, de-individuation, and lack of accountability, can lead individuals to commit acts they would never consider under normal circumstances. Pause 2S. Real-world applications of these psychological principles are evident in various forms of modern-day cruelty. Consider cyberbullying, where the anonymity of the internet dehumanizes victims, making it easier for perpetrators to inflict emotional pain without facing immediate consequences. Similarly, in workplace environments, toxic cultures can emerge when employees conform to harmful behaviors to fit in or gain approval. Pause 2S. Understanding these psychological mechanisms is crucial if we are to combat cruelty and foster a more humane society. By recognizing the signs of dehumanization and the factors that enable inhumanity, we can take steps to promote empathy, challenge harmful norms, and hold individuals accountable for their actions. Pause 2S. In the end, the battle against cruelty and inhumanity begins within each of us. It requires a commitment to seeing others as fully human, deserving of dignity and respect, regardless of the labels society may impose upon them. Pause 3S. Join us in the next chapter as we explore the power of empathy and the steps we can take to build a more compassionate world.